Joseph Raymond McCarthy was born in Grand Chute, Wisconsin on November 14, 1908. He attended university, practiced law, fought in World War II, and was elected Republican senator in 1946 and again in 1952. He didn't become a notable figure until February 1950, when he charged that the Department of State had been infiltrated by communists in a speech in Wheeling, West Virginia. Thus began the age of McCarthyism, when people from officials and actors to directors and playwrights were accused of un-American activities. Some of the more famous figures accused include Leonard Bernstein, Charlie Chaplin, W.E.B. Du Bois, and Langston Hughes. In addition, Zero Mostel, J. Robert Oppenheimer, Paul Robeson, and Orson Welles were indicted. The foundation of the communist witch hunts can be traced to the formation of the House Un-American Activities Committee in 1938, and then the Smith Act of 1940. This act did not specifically address the threat of communism, but was widely used during the McCarthy era. Hundreds of suspects were prosecuted under this act, and many defense attorneys were cited and imprisoned for contempt of court. Another early step was President Truman's loyalty program, launched after World War II. Also, the Attorney General's list of subversive organizations was published around this time. Hearings were carried out by the House Un-American Activities Committee, but the hearings really escalated when McCarthy came on the scene.
Communist!
However, Joe McCarthy eventually became a liability to his party and to President Eisenhower's administration. Eisenhower despised McCarthy, even comparing him to Hitler in private. Public opinion eventually turned against McCarthy. In March 1954, the radio and television broadcaster Edward R. Murrow produced a McCarthy expose on his program See It Now, portraying McCarthy as a fanatic. Then, McCarthy made the mistake of accusing the U.S. Army of espionage. He was censored by the Senate for his investigation methods and for abuse of certain senators and Senate committees. He was officially condemned by the Senate in 1954. During his reign of terror, between 10 and 12,000 people lost their jobs due to accusations by the House Un-American Activities Committee.
McCarthy's hunt extended beyond the Capitol. It soon led him to the other organization that controls America, the entertainment industry. One of the many entertainers indicted was playwright Arthur Miller, author of The Crucible. Arthur Miller was born in Harlem in 1915. Due to the Great Depression, Arthur Miller could not afford to attend university after he graduated from high school. Therefore, he hopped from odd job to odd job. He eventually attended University of Michigan, where he majored in journalism, then English. In 1944, he produced his first play, The Man with All the Luck, which was directed by his close personal friend Elia Kazan. Miller and Kazan continued to work together on Death of a Salesman in 1949, which became an immediate success nationwide. However, in 1952, Elia Kazan appeared before the House of Un-American Activities Committee and, under fear of being blacklisted from Hollywood, named 8 people of the group of theater who, in the 1950s, along with himself, had been members of the Communist Party. Arthur Miller, while driving himself home from New York, heard his name being discussed on the radio and, the next day, found himself defending his patriotism in court. After the fiasco of being an accused communist, Miller traveled to Salem, Massachusetts, where he began to research the famous Salem witch trials. He then published The Crucible, an allegorical play that criticized McCarthyism and the Red Scare. American theatergoers were neither pleased nor amused by the play, and it was considered a failure. However, now it is considered one of his best plays. Under McCarthyism, the United States was terrified of communism's influence. Like the witches on trial in Salem, communists were viewed as having already silently infiltrated the most vital aspects of American life and security, presenting a clear and present danger to the community at large. Miller, portraying a stark similarity between the collaborators of both the McCarthy era and the Salem witch trials, depicts cowardly neighbors accusing each other falsely to save themselves from the High Court of Salem.